Hey guys, you're watching And Now the Band. We're here today with Restless Spirit. Holy fuck. I need to, first, thank you guys, both of you, for taking time out of your Sunday morning to come and chat with little old me about this badass fucking album that you have coming out March. I almost said March. I said March, but it's May 8th. What, God, I feel like we haven't fucking really I haven't seen you guys live in like 2 fucking years.
Yeah, I think the last time was it was Portal in Louisville with Temple of Fuzzwitch, Crop, and Fairy Ring, which
Yeah.
looking back, that is like the craziest lineup, I feel like. You know what
What
I
yeah,
mean?
but what I think for a fan of music, they get a little bit of everything in that because Fairy Ring is like those dudes are so fucking good and they craft like these awesome atmospheric like stoner fucking songs, and then you got crap. Sorry, Braun. Braun gets it though. Uh, a quick side note: they're playing a show in Nashville at Cobra, and we all go down, and on the sign it said "crap" instead of "crop."
He probably loves that.
So it's fucking hilarious. But then you have Crop, who's just like this. They're so heavy, and it's got this element of like grunge and sadness thrown in, and then Temple of the Fuzzwitch is like the black metal inspired doom, and then you guys who I was trying to think about this earlier today, like how do I describe Restless Spirit? And you guys craft these heavy songs that are so like welcoming and crushing at the same time. And Paul, your fucking vocals, dude. I've told you this before, and I'll say it 100 fucking times, I'm sure, but your vocals are so catchy. Like not only the melodies that you craft for the song, but just the your delivery is fucking phenomenal, dude. And um, even the songs I don't know, I'm like trying to sing along with, and I'm like, well, that wasn't the fucking line, but Jesus Christ, that was cool.
Thanks, man.
When did you guys start writing Restless Spirit?
Uh Gosh, when did we start that? I don't know. It feels like such a blur because we always do everything at like such breakneck speed.
Yeah.
Like
I think we started writing like at some point in the middle of 2025. Um
February.
February, yeah, right. Because we finished the demos for it in over the summer because we knew, or it might have been like late, like early fall. Yeah, because the thing is with our records is that like writing goes by so fast because like we just jam and then like typically I don't think we really bring in anything that like Paul really won't bring in anything that like I don't think he's not super passionate about or is like this is going to be a song. So usually when he comes in it's like no, and he just also just pulls insane riffs out of his ass. So we'll just start he'll just start playing something and I'll just start playing, and really by the time we're done, like by the time we'll have a song by the end of a practice. So
Well,
it just fast.
I said February, but it's like we did one song in February and then we did nothing
Oh yeah,
until like May.
yeah,
We had
yeah.
the truck fighters run, so I think we finished. We realistically we did one song in February, and then the rest was May through August with a May through August with like one every 2 to 3 weeks. And then like funnily enough, The Burning Need, which is the first single, was that was the last song we wrote because we were like, we just need like one more song. And like, I thought it was going to be just like, I don't want to say filler, but like, I just came up with this riff and I was like, let me see, like, is this even good? You know, like, let's just see, let's do like a super simple song because we never do that. And then, of course, I mean, it's still pretty simple, but, I was like, let me just throw this riff in here, see if Gusmo likes it. And then like after we played it like literally one time, like all the way through, and we made like honestly, we played it just like going off like the energy in the room, and we probably made like one change. Like during after the first chorus, I was like, you should just hit some toms so it sounds like a double bass. And that I think that's literally the only change we made after that one practice, besides writing the vocals. So we just super super quick because it's like if you overthink things, I don't know. We've just
I
always been let's just go for it, you know?
I think that's um when you like if you don't overthink it, it comes out more authentic, right? At least to me. And that's what I connect with because it kind of holds the we're just still jamming instead of really trying to think through and going, oh, this fucking flat F fifth or whatever needs to go behind this bullshit. Like, no,
Yeah,
let's play it and see how it fucking goes.
Yeah, and that way you could break so many rules, you know, because exactly like you were just saying, like there are certain things in our songs that like don't really make sense musically,
Right.
where it's like, maybe someone else would have been like, I probably wouldn't have chosen that, but it works. And I think that's just going from, like the energy that I want to keep from, our records and stuff like that is like when you first start making music as like a kid, you're just like excited to be playing with your friends. And I feel like if we ever lost that, it would seriously change the entire sound of the band because like the entire foundation is just like hanging out with our friends and doing it because it's fun. Like we want to create something as opposed to we want to create like a product or something that's like engineered to get more listeners. Because like at the end of the day, like I could definitely speak for Gusmo when I say this that we don't give a shit like who likes it or not. Like as long as we like it, we're happy.
Yeah. Well, that's how, I think any art, right, is that's how it should be. Like you don't create art or you shouldn't create art with uh with the thought that it's a product, right? You create it to like, here, dude, this is fucking cool. We should do this. Oh, okay, cool. Let's do it. All
yeah.
right.
That's pretty much the process with us. Is like, you want to do this, yes or no, or can you or can't you? You know, it's like, all right, I can. All right, let's do it. Oh, you can't. All right, we'll figure it out. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's very very cut and dry that way. And yeah, I definitely can agree with Paul on that. Like, I think I also am a firm believer that like I think your every molecule of your being kind of has to just be in it, and you have to just be not even like it's like you can't give a shit what other people think, and you have to be so like just focused on what's happening, and that's usually when things have the best reception because I think people see the authenticity of it and they're drawn towards that, and especially the way the world is going right now, I feel people are constantly making stuff that they think people want to hear, but because everybody's like in this hyper independent sort of space where we can have you can be your own marketing, you can be your own this like everything has become honestly a little bit sterile. Like you see like a lot of these like bubble grunge bands and like whatever, like all this. I'm like, why does everything sound like Deftones mixed with Nirvana? Like
Yeah.
but it's like I think because now there's generations of kids that are like coming up in social media and they're understanding like there's a template to be able to be like this big independent band. They're starting to make things that it's almost like what's like the snake that eats itself sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
It's the
so we
human
don't.
centipede.
Yeah. Sure. That's a better way to describe it. But for us, like we really do not operate within like those parameters. It's like, do you like this? Yes. Do you like this? Yes. Um, all right.
Well, it's funny you say that because I find myself like I think the older I get, the more I look for bands that are unique and they don't sound like anything else. And that's one of the thing that really draws me to you guys is your sound is it doesn't sound like anyone else. Like there are elements here and there where you're like, "Oh, this is cool," but you can't go, if I listen to Restless Spirit, I fucking know. Like this is Restless Spirit. There is no one else that melds these elements like this.
For sure. I think that I could definitely attribute to that to like us just being, I mean, fans of music, but like kind of, I mean, I'm a devout prog head. So like I'm like before anything, I'm a huge prog head. Um
I call those
we
nerds.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's so funny because I feel like we've almost like accidentally modeled our band so much after like Rush, um, that it's like even though we're like a in the doom sort of stoner sphere, like we have like the let's just see where we could like bring this sort of mentality, while still operating as like essentially a rock band.
Well, that it's funny you say that because there are elements. I fucking love Howling Giant too, right? Like
Mhm.
there are elements that you guys have that are similar, right?
Sure.
Obviously, two very different bands with two very different sounds. But I think that fucking tour would be amazing, dude. Like,
Yeah, we did that like 2 Novembers ago, I think, and it was awesome. It was I think it was actually both our album release tours, so
oh,
it
for
went off
Glass
pretty well.
Future and After Image.
Yeah, yeah. So that was really fun, and I mean maybe the common denominator there is that both, and I don't know if they, because I know they've been on the show before, but we're both huge Coheed fans, so
Yeah.
I feel like that definitely has to do with our, we're operating in this like stoner doom scene, but what we're listening to is really not much stoner
Stoner Doom. Yeah.
and doom and stuff. Like obviously, I love those bands. I'm wearing the Well shirt right now, and I love music like that. And like obviously Electric Wizard and stuff like that. But when I'm writing songs and riffs and stuff, my brain is not going like, "What's Conan doing?" You know, like
Well, we always joke about it too that like we're we're all such. I mean, it may be contrary to what you're seeing right now because it's a bit early on a Sunday, but we're all such like high energy people. Like even Mark, when he talks to people, he's very tame, but like he's actually the craziest one of all of us. But like so like we'll try, and like Paul kind of touched on this before with the burning need, where like we try and make things that are like a little more streamlined and like simple, and this and no, even at the very least, if it's not like super demanding to play, like it's everything we make at some point is so supercharged with like energy because that's just who we are. Like we can't help when we're jamming. I'm just like going fucking completely insane. So yeah.
Yeah. And it's, I think that's, I love, you guys know Spotlights.
yeah,
Sure, yeah.
So I love Spotlights, right? Have for, God, fucking 10 years now.
That's
Wild.
I believe Chris Enriquez, his
Yeah.
band. Yeah, yeah. He's a Long Island guy.
Yeah. Yeah. You got Chris and then Sarah and Mario. But so when they crafted their last album, talking to Mario and Chris both, they did the same thing. Like, oh, I don't want to have these shoegaze elements, or I don't want to just listen to shoegaze or doom to do this. So they were finding shit outside, listening to a lot of pop or whatever it was to bring in those elements. And I I like when bands do that. I like when bands, are what they are, unabashedly. And
Sure.
it's cool that um people are like, oh, like, yeah, we're a doom or a stoner band, and all we listen to is doom or stoner. Like, cool, that if that's what does you. But if you can bring in those outside elements and go like, oh, this influenced a little bit here, that's where to me, that's where the uniqueness really comes in. Like, full disclosure, I am not a Coheed fan, right? Like, I never have been, but they put on a fucking amazing show, and I will 100% go see them live every chance I get because the show is fucking amazing. But
Sure.
I can't put that shit on and listen to
Yeah.
an album or anything. And I can
No,
see, go ahead.
there are totally like there are a lot of bands where it's like when people are like, "Oh, I'm not into this for this reason," it's like super understandable. You know what I mean? Like another band that I absolutely love, and like I will never be able to defend this, but it's like Static X. It's like insane, insane, and it's like I don't even know why I love it so much, but I think it's just the fact that like it's so unique, and it's bands like that are like so polarizing. Even like we all love Typo Negative, and now everybody loves them. But I remember like back in the day when they were still around, you know,
You either
you
loved them or you hated them.
yeah, and people did not like them. So it like they were really niche, especially towards the end of their career. And I mean, I would remember like you'd go to shows when people would actually talk to each other at shows, especially especially when we were like younger, going to like metal shows, and it would always be like, "Oh, what's your favorite band? What's your favorite band?" And I'd be like, "Oh, Type O Negative," and the conversation would just like stop. You know, now it's like it's insane. They've this is probably the biggest they've ever been, besides Bloody Kisses, October Rust in the '90s, and but I think they were so polarizing for so long because they were so unique.
Well,
Like love it or hate it.
you're absolutely right, and that's, I think, that for me, that's always drawn me in. I don't want, if I want to listen to the same fucking band over and over and over, I can put the radio on. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
it's the same 10 songs every fucking hour over and over, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
To
you you want
I
that
was
fucking uniqueness, you know?
I was gonna say, like, to piggyback off of what Paul said. I mean, my favorite band of all time is Dream Theater. Um, just being a Long Island head, and there's so much history like of like their band packed into Long Island, and I know when I tell people that they're like, but for it's one of those things like, yeah, like I totally understand like why someone might not like it, but I'm also like I love it. There's never been a body of music that I care about, and I realize this because Mike Portnoy rejoined the band. He's my favorite drummer ever. He rejoined the
Listen,
band.
his fucking one bite pizza reviews are the shit.
You know, but yeah, when he rejoined the band, I told my girlfriend, I'm like, we're going the whatever wherever the first show is back in the U.S. Like, we're going to see that show. And when we got there, and like, I typically don't go like super, like, I'm not like going nuts at like a show or like really super excited at like a concert. Maybe like a hardcore show or something. I used to mosh a lot when I was a kid and or when I was younger, and um, but I don't know what happened to me, but I was like such a fan. We were up in the mezzanine. I'm fucking going insane. I'm like screaming. I like blew my voice out. Um, just because, yeah, I realized like there's no body of music I care about more than this band. I take a lot of lumps. Like, everyone, they send me memes of like, oh, how did you know I was a Dream Theater fan? And it's like someone with like the bald spot, and but
That's that's so
no,
funny, dude. But like, you're right. Like, I think Dream Theater is the exact same way. Either you love them or you hate them. There's really not not an in between. I remember when they like I guess that's the single "Pull Me Under" fucking
Sure.
blew
Mhm.
up, and it was like, oh, that's cool. They're a band. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna turn them off if it's on, but it's also not something that I'm gonna like seek out, right?
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
I think it's cool that Mike rejoined, and it was cool. I chatted with him for a brief minute at Louder Than Life last year.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Um, so it was, just it's cool to see him like out and about doing the Dream Theater shit again.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal show. It was incredible. I stood for 3 hours and I didn't have like a single ounce of back pain. Like I was just like I was torqued. It was crazy.
Like,
That's the most old guy thing I've ever heard you say.
Well, funny enough too, like especially like growing up, going to punk shows, going to hardcore shows, like I dress like a construction worker. Like that's just always been my thing. I get free. When I was working for my family, I get free sweatshirts, free t-shirts, and I wear jeans or like a band shirt or whatever it was. And going to that show, I saw all these people, no hairline, band shirt, like hiking sneakers, whatever. I'm like, oh, these are my
This
people.
explains everything.
oh, it's so fucked up, dude. Even the things you think about when you get older. I find myself now like talking to people about the length of shows.
Yeah.
I I went to a show the other night. It was kind of a hardcore show, and I got there at 7. The last band was going on at 9:15, and I was like, "Oh, we're done by fucking 10?"
Incredible.
Dude,
Yes.
especially when you're on tour and you have a show like that quick, it's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I can only imagine. You're like
The
fucking
the greatest thing.
like,
Yeah.
cool. Let's get some fucking sleep tonight.
Yeah, but when we played Detroit on the East Coast Truck Fighters run, it was just the two. It was just like just the tour package. There was no openers or anything. It was two bands sharing gear. Incredible show. I think that might have been one. That was probably the second best show of the tour. But it was just like wow. And there's free food. Like everything went perfectly. They're like, oh, there's great food over here. Like there's all kinds of shit just worked out. It was a beautiful venue. I'm like, this
Was
is
it? Did you guys
people.
play Sanctuary?
It was
Magic bag.
Magic
Oh,
Bag.
okay. I think we saw High on Fire there.
It's a really nice spot.
They've got the fucking bowling alley downstairs, right?
I'm not sure. I don't know if there's a downstairs. It's sort of it almost looked like they were like tiers. Like there's a little pit area and then it's kind of hard to describe, but it's got like a cool like almost magic show vibe
Yeah.
with like the curtains and just like the font of the venue and you go outside in the archway and they're playing like nice like show music and stuff. I don't know if you saw that, Hosmo.
No,
Uh,
I don't remember.
that
That
was
is
like
okay. That
during the
is not.
show. Yeah.
That's not where I saw High on Fire.
Yeah. That'd be cool if
Well,
they played there. I mean, like it would be a small pit area. People would get very hurt for them. I mean, we had people losing their fucking minds and like throwing shit and just like circle pitting, going crazy. And it was like such a confined space because there was like a almost like barred off area for people to do that. And
That's
then
cool.
and you go up and it's more like standing and stuff. But yeah, High on Fire, something like that at the Magic Bag, someone would probably get killed.
Dude, they
maybe
were.
we'll make it
We
happen. We'll tell them. Just book them there.
just
You
book
Just
know.
them
do
there.
it.
Well,
That's what
so I did for my birthday. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before. It was a year before because last year for my birthday I went to see Spotlights. Um, so I fucking went up and I don't remember the name of the venue, but I also saw Max Sabbath there many, many years ago. But we go up and I'm like side stage for High on Fire and I'm watching the fucking crowd. They are literally crushing each other against the stage. I'm like, fuck that, dude. My ass is like in the back against the wall, like
For sure. Yeah, I definitely when I was younger, I used to really like to get in the action. Now I'm like, nah. I
Yeah.
had like one stage dive. My last stage dive, I think, was back in 2020 during Kill Your Idols back on Long Island, and it was successful. And then I was on the floor, and then my hips hurt for like 2 weeks after that. So, yeah, maybe not anymore.
dude, my last like pit experience, it was about 16 fucking years ago. I went in the pit, I was coming out, and I've been fucking with this big security dude all fucking night. And he takes me and he throws me back in there, dude. It fucking ripped my shoulder. I had to have
Holy
surgery.
shit,
Oh,
dude!
And mind you, he was a buddy of mine, so like we were completely fucking around. Like I wasn't mad at him or anything, but like to have that fucking happen, I was like, okay, nope, I'm good.
guess I'm done.
Your exit. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one to be like, fuck you.
Mhm.
Uh, so how was that fighters run?
It was awesome. I
Yeah.
mean,
That was also like my return back to touring with Restless Spirit. I had to kind of take I had to take some time away from touring just to get I had some like health things I had to work out. I had some financial stuff. So when he told me about that one, I was kind of looking at my whole everything that was going on. I'm like, yeah, I think I can do that. And it really was like it was an incredible tour. Like probably my favorite tour we've ever done.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's
yeah,
cool.
it was a great run. And, especially because like the drive, like it was like everything just went well. Like the drives weren't that bad. Like we were just saying, a lot of the shows were just like either two bands, three bands, done kind of early, like great crowds. Um, but
I,
yeah, you know, it's also we got to play some venues that we've wanted to for a while, and like there's sometimes you'll hit a city and you'll play a venue in that city, but it's not like the venue. You know what I mean? So it's almost like we're almost at the right spot. You know what I'm saying? But then you're like, oh, why didn't the show do that well? I was like, oh, well, nobody really comes to this place. I was like, fuck.
yeah.
But that run just everything just hit right. I mean, the past couple of runs that we've done have been like really, really awesome. And for a band that, I mean, we used to go back in like 2015, 2016. I don't even know because my sense of time is so warped at this point. But we would play to like three people and for like weeks on end. Like sometimes it'd be like 10, maybe 15, and we'd be like, this is awesome,
Yeah, we
you
made
know?
like $70. Like
Sleeping on floors and just, we would call Chipotle's and just like we had this whole like fucking script that Mark would do and like give him this like pitch. We ate Chipotle for free, I think 17 days in a row one time because we were just so broke. We couldn't afford anything. Or like, Mark would be stealing fucking like cans of beans and shit from grocery stores. So like, oh, and we were also touring in a minivan, so there was just no room for anything. So to be able to, like years later go from that to you look out in the crowd and there are people that are like singing the words and they know your music and you know you're pulling in solid merch numbers and it's like it's still a little surreal. Like you look out and you're like, know us, because like I feel like we still have that mentality where it's like we're still like every show is like a fight to like prove ourselves.
Yeah, but
Um,
I think one thing about you guys is you do, right? Whether it's every show or every album, I think that what the product you put out is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Like it's really solid, I think, and the show that you guys put on is fantastic, which is obviously what helps call that audience, bring them to the fucking shows because at the end of the day, you guys are t-shirt salesmen that just play music, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just Paul talking about like the early days. I was just reminded of a couple stories. I don't want to incriminate Mark in any way, but so I'll say allegedly. I remember one story. We were driving overnight
Hold
somewhere.
on. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
I'll say Mac. he we stopped at this gas station. And it was like it was probably like 3 o'clock in the morning because we were driving overnight somewhere, and we stopped at this gas station, and Mac goes in there, and he he's kind of like fiddling around for a second, like whatever, and he I got some snacks. I think Paul might have been sleeping, but he comes back outside and he reaches in his pants and he had just like a full like foot long sandwich that he stole from this gas station. I'm like, how the fuck did you do that? But that's just the way that I look back on those times of like it really was crazy that like this stuff that we used to, because it was just so normal for us at that point. We were like living together too, so like we that was just our world, was just like living like cowboys, shoving foot long sandwiches down our pants so we can eat. Oh
Oh,
man.
oh fuck.
Forgot about that. Yeah, I mean, there's also stuff that you could get away with like in your 20s and stuff, but now, like mid 30s, it's like, dude, like I don't know. Like looking back, it's sort of like we were just fucking crazy people for even wanting to do that.
Yeah. And we also kind of came to the realization that I guess that the whole, I guess we'll call it the before time, when I had to, before I left the band to go back to school, we kind of realized even like a lot of those connections that we made from that time just like kind of evaporated. So it's like we just did all of that kind of for nothing. Like, yeah, like pretty much Blood of the Old Gods was sort of like almost like a restarting of the band. So we just went through this whole like I don't know what you want to call it, but it was kind of all just, I guess that was just us hanging out. Like, that's what we did
Kind
for
of. Well,
years.
I think the bigger thing, like as funny as it is to say that, it's like we outlasted a lot of people like in the scene, and that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It's like where are those dudes now? It's like, oh, they're just not around. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's funny you say that because there are, bands come and go so much. Like I don't know. I'm gonna say the average life of a band is like 5 years from day one. So we turn over bands so much, kind of like restaurants here in Louisville, um, that the bands that make it are the ones that they just stick it out and keep going. And I say make it because it's kind of a relative term, right? What is making it? But it, the older you get, the more you play music, the more you play shows, the better you hone your craft. And it's I don't see so much of the sophomore slump anymore, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a thing, but the reality is music just gets fucking better and better and better. Like I think Restless Spirit is the best work that you guys have done. Um, and that's, nothing against After Image or Blood of the Old Gods or the album from 21, which I'm fucking blanking on, but uh, because they're all like solid fucking albums too, but this is fucking I think people who like Restless Spirit are gonna love this fucking album. So, cheers to you guys for aging like fine fucking wine, or just great fucking riffs, whatever.
Yeah. Well, so it's interesting because I felt like, when I rejoined the band and we did Blood of the Old Gods, I think there was a like from, I guess, from Harvest and 1922, we were still a bit like rigid. We were, everybody's in their 20, like early 20s, and we were still very like like everything had like I was still playing to a click, and like we were, we were still quantizing my drums and things like that. Like we still wanted to, like we were very like focused and wanted to be like streamlined. And I feel like when we sort of came back together with Blood of the Old Gods, there was this like this air of like, let's just anything goes sort of thing. Let's just like what do we want to hear, and how do we want to play, and like how do we want to present this. And I think we did that, and I feel like we got like all that juice out of our system. And the after image, we did really want to focus on like maybe dialing that back a bit much, a little bit, and then sort of focus on making songs, which um, I think we definitely achieved. Like that's definitely like the song record. And then I feel like this record, especially being sort of like the 10-year anniversary of the band, or coming around just around the 10-year anniversary of the band, I felt like is sort of like the best of all the worlds of Restless Spirit. So it's like we still wanted that jammy sort of the jam quality of the band that we have, but we also wanted to make really catchy songs. Um,
Which
so
they fucking are, dude. Jesus Christ, they are. Oh, you know what? This is what I want to bring up. Ember, right there, track 6. What a way to fucking break it up, and to go from Desolation's Wake into fucking Ember. I think that flows so fucking good, and then Time and Distance right on the back. But where the fuck did Ember come from?
I mainly when I'm home, I play acoustic guitar. I have albums that I've just never released, because I don't really have any desire to. I just like recording in my room, and I always wanted to put something like that on a record. I mean, we had like acoustic interludes on Blood, and then we kind of got rid of that on After Image. But I I thought that there was like a level of intensity to like this whole record where I was like, all right, let's just like dial it back before the final two songs, which are the longest and the proggiest. So I feel like the whole idea with the sequencing is just to keep throwing people off but still have it flow. I mean, the first track is the Burning Need, and then it immediately goes into something a little more proggy, and then we're gonna have two songs that just fucking rock, and then it's this strange acoustic piece with strings before going right back into the longest two songs on the album. I think the final track is actually the longest and proggiest thing we've ever written. I mean, it's pretty
Yes.
much like two songs in one, to the point we were considering like, should we break it up into two songs or just leave it?
Yeah, it's damn near
Um,
9 minutes, dude.
yeah, and I wanted it to be longer. I mean, like after listening back to it, I remember I I was talking to Gusmo a little while ago, like when we were first listening to the final mixes and stuff. I was like, if there's like one thing I wish, it was like, I wish we added more to Phantom Pain, which is the last track. But at that point, it's like I always try and do a solid 40-minute record,
Yeah.
you know, just so to make sure everything sounds good on one vinyl, so we don't have like three or four sides.
Well, that and it's I think unless you're really into prog, 40 minutes is probably the max that people's attentions are on an album.
Yeah, I think it's like, especially at this point, we have so many, well, not so many records, but so many releases. I mean, between all the EPs and the full lengths, where it's like I don't think we really need to make like a 60, 70 minute record. Like we're
Not
going to
yet.
create, yeah, we're going to create more music. And, if one of those records ends up being just like a 40-minute song, then that is what it is. I mean, we've talked about it very, like many times, doing like a 20-minute track or something like that, like just as an EP, because it would just be fun for us. And we all really love prog. And, but, I go back to Rush, and it's like most of their albums are under 40 minutes. Um, so they could do it and still be interesting and proggy, you know.
Yeah, they
Why
were
can't we?
super fucking successful too, like um with what they did. And I think Rush made music that was them and that they wanted, which is, what you guys do. I mean, that's to me, that's the success in a band is, are we still making music that we want to and that we're fucking proud of? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean totally. And even, I think we've also talked about like the progressive elements of the band and stuff like that too. And I feel like it's come to a point where it's like, what is progressive music at this point? Is it just repeating the same riff over and over with like a different variation? Or but we like to go back to, bands like Rush or like, early 70s prog, where it's just like, I feel the definition is sort of the song is progressing through many different stages and trying new ideas, without just like, here's a weird time signature, and we're gonna have 7 million riffs in one song, and call it prog. I mean,
Yeah.
that to me, that really is not entertaining or fun or fulfilling at all. So
No, you,
Yeah, I could definitely I have a lot because like I said I'm a devout prog head myself. Like I think especially in like the way the music culture, if you will, is going, I think people think that like virtuosity and technique is what makes good music, and I guess however long you can demonstrate that is is like that's what makes good music. It's like no, there's a whole other side of making music that's it's about feeling, it's about so the prog greats, if you really boil down what they were doing, they were like Rush was, it was just a rock band, they were like a rock band, they were they just wanted to push themselves to their absolute like musical limits, but the focus was still to write a song. It wasn't just to sit here and run scales and run odd times, and trust me, I love that kind of stuff, but it has to make sense, and there still needs to be hooks, there still needs to be a chorus. Just I think a lot of bands they'll make like a long song, and half the song will be like an ambient, clean section that lasts like 11 minutes, and you're like, oh dude, all right, come on, like let's get on with it. Like um but I guess no shade to that. It's just personally not my taste, and but I definitely agree with what Paul said. It's like the song has to still be the focus, not the technique, not the circle jerk, if you will, of just
well, I think that's where I'm with you. I think that's where music gets boring when
yeah.
it's you listen to it and it just sounds like everyone's soloing at each other. Like
Yeah.
what? Like why the
Yeah.
fuck would you do that? You're not serving a purpose here other than look at my technical ferocity. Like I don't give a fuck, dude. Can you write a good song?
Yeah, for sure.
it's even funny that you say that, because I feel like none of us in the band ever really want to be like the show off, but we're always encouraging each other. Like, dude, come on, you just go crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember in when we were writing Cascade Immolator for Blood of the Old Gods, there was a long part at the end where it's sort of instrumental. I was like, dude, just like do like literally like a drum solo underneath this riff, because the riff was just like kind of like repeating, and then which is, I feel like, a crazy thing for one musician to say to another, and because everyone thinks that every musician has like this sort of ego, and then we get Mark, who's always like, I just want you to do a guitar solo where it's just like complete fucking top of your game, insanity, because you're always holding back. And so, I feel like we're always encouraging each other to show off just a little bit, you
Yeah.
know, because we're all fans of each other's playing. Instead of just wanting to be like, oh no, I'm the guy. you
Yeah.
know, People listen to this band because of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's so funny because I think that's where um for me, one of my favorite things is seeing a good musician not just lay everything out on the table. you know they're a great fucking musician, but they're serving the song, which is, first and it is first and foremost the most important thing when you're writing or performing is like what makes sense for the song when you get back to a point where you're like, oh, look at me, I'm blah 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 blah. Like those, God, I've seen so many bands that are like this band featuring this person, and every fucking time that person's out there like soloing, and I'm like, why the fuck are you doing that?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because Paul and I, one of the musicians that we like both collectively, like we have a gigantic mutual appreciation for is John Frusciante. I mean, we both love are also love the Red Hot Chili Peppers pretty shamelessly, but John Frusciante, there's a reason why people think he's like a guitar god is because his sole purpose is to like just serve the song. Like the Josh Klinghoffer records where like you listen to him and he's doing like the absolute most that he can, and everyone's like, yeah, it's all right, that's cool. And John can get on stage and play one note for an hour, and everyone's like, he's a fucking guitar god, man. And like, but his whole philosophy was like he thought Flea was such an incredible bass player, and obviously Chad says he didn't want to get in the way of that, so he just does the absolute minimum. But he shines through that sort of thing, you know. And that's, I guess that's kind of comes back to my point of like understanding like your job has to solely be as a musician like serving the song. You'll have your time to like we talked about Cascade Immolator and Paul's guitar solos and stuff like that where we really like not when the gate is open, just fucking like let the dam sort of break, But then but ultimately we all always our biggest concern is the song good, you know?
Well, that's where the collective, the sum is better than the parts, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like what makes sense, and that's probably something that's really cool about you guys is you respect each other and you are fans of each other, so you build each other up, and it's not like my fucking ego is, I'm the I'm the best thing ever. Like fuck no, and that collectively, like if you guys had anyone else in the band, it would be different.
Yeah, it's
You,
true. Well, it's I think that being in a band is it's a very strange thing because people talk about like you're in a relationship with X amount of people, but I always see it as like it really is the coolest thing you could do because if you're doing it right and you have the right people, like you and X amount of human beings are working to literally become one. Like the it's almost like the closest that I think anyone could get to like a collective meditation, not to get all spiritual, but like you and X amount of people are working towards achieving, I guess through many frequencies, you're trying to achieve one frequency, one message. It's like coming together. So it's like, there are obviously, in industry makes a lot of that stuff work. And, that's why, you see a lot of bands that they make this great music, but they all fucking hate each other. But like all our entire goal is to quite literally just like, there's like this thing that we have, this connection that we have. And it's like, when we play together, we're amplifying that connection. And you can see like our friendship on stage too. I think that's a lot also like a big sell for a lot of people. It's like, we'll be playing and Paul will look at me and start screaming and, like whatever, just like going insane. And Mark will like mouth like inside jokes at each other while like we have this character, Gregory Horse. So he'll like mouth Gregory Horse at me like while we're playing and just like being in a band is so much more than just like performing and playing music for people. Like you literally are you're I guess shining a light on a connection trying to achieve or achieving with X amount of people.
yeah, yeah, that's again, right? It's the sum is greater than the parts, and I think when bands realize that, that's where the there's no ceiling to
Yeah.
where you can go or what you can do. Fuck.
I like I agree with. I think that was perfectly said, but I was also laughing about, just imagining how a band is like a relationship, and if our band was a relationship, like it would be just complete, because it's just insanity 24/7. Like, like people ask us sometimes, we'll post just like weird shit, just like running around like no clothes on stage before like the show starts, and everyone's like, how do you guys post such funny shit? And I'm like, first of all, nothing is scripted, and second of all, if you only knew the half of it, like we wake up on tour just like yelling at each other, like joking around, obviously. Like we never fight. It's just insanity all the time. So that relationship in real life would probably like one of us would get arrested.
Well, it's funny too because like we
It'd
all
be
work.
Mac.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
we all work together at a venue on Long Island, and you know, so I started working there first, and I started telling them about Mark, and just how Mark is sincerely the funniest person that's ever walked the earth. Um, so then Mark started working there, and automatically like his sense of humor is like super infectious. And then Paul started working there too. So the three of us are back in this one area. And like there's like obviously like most people are on board, but there's this one kid in particular um that our other friend I guess got him the job because he's like an intern or something at at the place he works at. And so he asked him like, oh, like how do you like working at the venue? And he's like, yeah, it's like it's fun, but like they all do this weird voice. like, they're just nonstop, like all the time joking around and like, But yeah, that's like when the three of us are together, it's like it's almost like we have figured out a way to like be so unserious that we still somehow communicate with each other and still know like like
Exactly what we're all
like
talking about.
confirming yes is telling someone to shut up. like like I'm like, do you want to do this? Yeah, sure, shut up. you know and that's it. Like it's just shit like that constantly, but like we somehow are still so productive. But I think because we've through being so stupid, we've actually like carved out another language in which that's how we communicate now.
Dude, sometimes, that fucking that is the enlightened relationship.
yeah.
You know what I
If
mean?
that's
Like,
what you want to call it, yeah. But it's also like we can't. It's like, you know, we're almost like just like obsessed with each other. Like we're just always like sending each other like voicemail. I mean, Mark lives in my fucking basement, and then we're on tour together all the time. And then if that isn't enough, now, this year we all started working together at a job. So it's just like it just doesn't stop. And I feel like it adds to us being able to, be in a band together, because it's like we've clearly proven that we can, you know, just be with each other all the time. And if you can't do that, you're going to have problems like within the band. If you can't totally and fully understand and respect each other, and um, sort of read between the lines sometimes when it needs to be, and also just be upfront with someone, especially about like what their wants or their needs musically or personally. I think that's how we're able to make such, I think, consistent records, because there's never any like, well, this is what I want, so this is what we're doing. Because it's like, are you guys happy with this? Yes or no? If it's no, we go and change it. There's no like, dude, no, like I need this part. um and I feel we're only able to do that because, I mean, we've known each other for so long, and we're able to just be honest with each other, where it's like I think a lot of bands sort of, they falter in that regard because ego gets in the way. And I mean, look, let's be real, like music doesn't always attract the most, socially adept people. And
that's a
so
nice way to put it.
but I mean, am I wrong?
No, not at
um
all.
you got to be crazy to be able to be doing this, or to want to be able to do this. So, to be able to sort of, learn how to communicate in those areas, I think makes the end result possible, and how we're able to create such so quickly, and put out as much as we have. I mean, we've done a record a year since every other year, I think. Well, actually, you know what? I think we may have had one release, whether it's just an EP or a single, since 2015. Um, which I mean, also, yeah, I think 2015 almost a release a year in some regard, which is crazy because we just do things and we don't think about them. To the fact where Gusmo is saying that this is our 10 year, but I think we missed. I think I think we're wrong.
Are we?
Yeah, I think 2015 was Tardis Mortem.
Oh, right. Okay. So yeah. If we go back, yeah, if we go back to that, because I always count Harvest as like the beginning.
Yeah,
But I guess being that we were DMP back then, I guess it would make sense to go all the way back. So yeah, I guess for the sake of marketing, it's 10 years, but
it's 10 years. Yeah.
Hold on,
canonically
what?
speaking, it's 11.
Hold on. What is DMP?
So DMP was a joke band that me and Mark made when we were like 13 or 14, and it meant death metal pope. Because like I drew a picture of like a pope like getting like rolled over with like a steamroller, and we were like, it just like rolled off the tongue. Like we just thought it sounded funny. And so when we got back together and started playing again, Mark made this EP and he called the band Witch Tripper. And he just took it from a down song. We're like, we don't really want to use that. Let's start a new band. So we started a new band, but we didn't have enough songs to go on tour with. And so we used some of those Witch Tripper songs. But we couldn't really, we didn't know what we wanted to be called. We knew it wasn't Witch Tripper. So we were like, why don't we just call it Death Metal Pope? Because it's stupid. Band names don't matter. Um, so we called ourselves Death Metal Pope, and then we shortened it to DMP. And our whole thing was that you know band names don't matter. We're gonna do it regardless.
That's a good
What is it?
wife. I don't know,
Next.
but she just brought me food. Yes. Thanks. I love
Um,
you.
so yeah, the whole thing was we were like, band names don't matter. Let's just call it like fucking whatever because and it's a stupid name. Like, admittedly, it was stupid on purpose, but it started backfiring. People they were like, "Why would you call it something like that?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like, my reason was I just didn't care. But then people
Can we get some DMP stickers?
can actually, I still do have some, and there are a bunch of people who come to our shows with DMP shirts. And but the straw that broke the camel's back when I was like, we really got to change this because people started thinking for some reason it was like a gang affiliation or something like that. And I was like, this is just getting so stupid because the whole point was that it didn't matter, but then the stupidity of the band name became what people were fixating on.
You guys were
Uh,
ICP in the metal
yeah, right.
world.
Well, the other
So
thing that kind of screwed everything up was Ghost kind of blowing up as much as they did, and people were like, "Why would you do that?" Because that's what like Ghost is. It's like, well, it's different, and like, shut up,
Dude, I know what those things are now.
Yeah.
So I saw this video. It was a reel. I don't remember if it was on like TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. And it was like these cinnamon apples wrapped in pastry. And I was like,
ooh,
oh, these look fucking great. And so I sent it to my wife. I was like, hey, like these would be cool. And mind you, this is like 3 months ago that I sent the video. She just made them.
ah,
Yes.
that's a good wife.
Yes.
Hell
She's
yeah, dude.
she's the fucking best. Yeah, I'm sorry. I need one of those DMP stickers, dude. Like,
I'll try and find them. I mean, I have them like plastered on a bunch of my amps and stuff and my guitar case and it's become sort of one of those things where it's like if you know about it, like you're in the cool guys club, you know. So maybe now
yes.
you're in the cool guys club. But we've always been pretty bad I think I've been pretty bad at like naming bands. Like we could not when we decided we wanted to change the name, I could not figure out what I wanted to call it because like I never wanted it to be anything like too serious or pretentious or something like that. And I was just like playing Skyrim one day, and there was like some quest about like some wandering restless spirits, and I was like, that sounds fine. Like let's just take that. And I asked Mark, I was like, what do you think? He's like, oh, it's a great band name. So I was like, all right, let's just do it. And we just kind of settled on it.
Hell yeah.
But
Did you see I just did John Davis from Conan.
oh
Uh he
yeah,
he and I chatted a couple weeks ago,
oh his
and
background was Skyrim. I saw that.
yeah,
Yeah, that was awesome.
people are like, "Do you think he likes Skyrim?" Nah, not at all. He fucking hates it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fuck Skyrim. Yeah. Oh God. Sorry, that was my little side quest. Um, do you guys have any like goals or thresholds that you want to meet with the release of Restless Spirit?
I just want people to listen to it. I want people to come out and shows and have a good time. I think that's always like my biggest thing. I just want people to like have fun at our shows. Um, because if not, it's just like a slog. If they're not having fun, you're not going to have fun.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
you gotta feed off that energy, you know?
yeah,
What
Yeah, I definitely, for me, like in a lot of ways, this might sound a little corny, but I think with the way the record came, because I'm very like I'm I'm an artiste to a fault, and like I think the fact that I really I put everything on the table, at least in my department. Obviously, everybody else did too, but just to speak for myself, like um, I I uh I think just playing wise and just the way the whole record came out, like I feel like no matter what happens after, like we did it, like I think we wrote the record we've always wanted to write since even starting the band and starting to play together. So everything else for me is almost like just the icing on the cake, or the cherry on top of the candles, or what have you.
Whatever it may be. Yeah.
which is also that's why we called it Restless Spirit because it was sort of like this is just I feel like it's like the fullest embodiment of like who we are for right now, because I
Yeah.
think it changes all the time with each release. But
But dude, it changes from show to show too, which is so like it's so wild to think about. Like obviously you guys are always you guys, but like every show something else happened that day, whatever it is, good, bad, or ugly. So like as much as the album is, who did I have this conversation with? Chris Pravelis from uh I almost said Inhuman Condition, but not that. Ah, fuck, Chris, I can't remember your band right now. Whatever. Internal Bleeding.
All right. Oh yeah.
It's like, whereas the album is a snapshot of a band in that like era, every show is like a snapshot of a band in that moment, right?
a
So
100%.
so that's the to me, that's the great thing about going to a live show. And I say live, like I understand what there are backing tracks here and there, but I also don't want to see just a guy singing and the whole band be a backing track. Like, fuck that. That's not a
Yeah,
that's not a
Sure.
snapshot, right? I want the good times. So I don't know. I don't
That's something they always try and capture, just with like even just being like a power trio, just like wall of amps, drums, and just three. I always say like I just want to sound like three assholes in a room, like just playing together. Like we don't
bunch of
have like
farting in the microphone.
yeah, don't put a pen on the old, but no, like just like I was kind of speaking on it before, of just like people seeing that connection with us, like between the three of us. Um, but we don't have like fancy production. We don't have like lights. Sometimes maybe if we're lucky, there's a video wall. We'll have like a backdrop, or we have our banner. But that's really it, because like I think all of us are on the same page, where it's like we take away all the layers of like subgenre and niche and like whatever. We're a rock band, and obviously when you put all those things, like I think that's the coolest shit ever. Like having a cool light show, having backing tracks, like if it works, it works. But like for us, it's like we just want to play. That's why you're coming to see us, is to see us play.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't go to fucking see Motorhead because of their fucking light show. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I 100% get it. Okay, I'm gonna say we gotta cut it. My phone is absolutely blowing up right now. I've got a shit ton of stuff to do. I can smell these apple pastries.
Gotta eat. That's
Yeah,
the real reason.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna eat on here when I'm talking to you guys,
Yeah.
but fuck, they smell good. Damn, I love her. She's so good to me. Uh, so let's end it on live shows. What do you guys have coming up?
Uh, nothing's announced. I don't know by the time I know. I feel like every time I come on this, I can't tell you. Um, but we're just playing everywhere, and that will be announced very soon.
Are you coming to Kentucky again?
I think so. I think so. I we have so many dates coming up that it's just kind of everywhere.
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna assume,
so
yeah.
yeah, I'll tell you this: we will be on the road for 36 days
Oh,
straight.
nice.
So we're hitting pretty much everywhere. Um, so I'm also going to assume yes, but like every time I look at the routing, I'm like, oh my god, I can't read all that right now. Um, but yeah, so that's it. That's all we've been working on for right now, and it's with another band that will also have a record coming out in May, which I also can't say who it is. So sorry.
So
Maybe
that's all
one
right.
time I'll come on and I'll be able to tell you more than that.
Well, maybe once you announce the show, I'll have you come back on and we'll actually or tour. I'll get you back on and we'll talk about the tour and the other band.
Yeah, we could totally do that.
Fucking
Ooh,
Restless Spirit. You guys better go fucking see them because they are great dudes with a great show and a killer album coming out. Thank you both very much for your time on this warm Sunday morning down here.
mhm.
It was just snowing over here, so
Fuck, I was out in a t-shirt yesterday, just like this. Like, all right, this is great. Uh, yeah, I greatly appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to getting my vinyl copies of the album. Guys, go and have yourselves a great day.
Thank you,
yep.
man. It's good talking to you again.
You too. See ya.
Yep. See you soon. Thank you.
Yep.